Number 8. This passage is probably taken from a or an blank. A. Story. B. Movie. C. Essay. D. Diary. Answer. D. Diary. Spreading of diseases can be categorized in terms of pandemic, epidemic, and endemic. Take note of the difference among the terms, not to use them interchangeably. The definition of each term is fluid and changes as diseases become more or less prevalent over time. An epidemic is often localized to a region, where the number of infected is significantly higher than normal. For example, when COVID-19 was limited to Wuhan, China, it was an epidemic. The geographical spread turned it into a pandemic. Endemic, on the other hand, is a constant presence. B. The beginning of March. C. The beginning of April. D. In the later part of March. Answer is letter A. In between March and April. Number 14. How many casualties are there in the month of June? A. 2,500. B. 5,000. C. 10,000. D. 30,000. Answer is A. 2,500. Number 15. Which is true among these statements? A. The data is an approximation of active cases by June this year. B. The data is an update on the number of mortalities as of June 8. C. The data came from the Philippine General Hospital. B. The data is an update on COVID-19 by the University of the Philippines. Answer is either letter A. The data is an approximation of active cases by June this year. Or letter B. The data is an update on the number of mortalities as of June 8. Building up defenses in time of crisis. The 3 A's. Stress vulnerability is determined based on the individual's physical and mental conditions or vice versa. People normally worry when confronted with problems, may it be personal, social, or financial. Being optimistic or showing a positive outlook has always been a concluding factor in a stress-free life. In this time of crisis, where people are endangered by war, calamities, and diseases, It is essential that positivity is coupled with the three A's: awareness, attentiveness, and assertiveness. As students, being aware of situations will broaden your perspective and strengthen your ability to attend to your own needs and of others and communicate solutions. These three A's are skills that are to be developed with you through these learning objectives. Number 1. Express opinions or reactions on a speaker's perspective. Number 2. Distinguish formal and informal definition of words. Number 3. Develop awareness on a worldwide phenomenon. Number 4. Suggest solutions to existing problems. And number 5. Present and organize ideas using graphic organizers. Looking back, in Lesson 1, you have been familiarized with the main challenge confronting the world that puts us in the new routine of life. People are made aware of COVID-19 pandemic through informative, literary, and journalistic means. To wrap up, answer the activity. Directions. Read each paragraph, then indicate whether it is informative, literary, or journalistic text. Number 1. It was dark and stormy night. In her attic bedroom, Margaret Mary, wrapped in an old patchwork quilt, sat on the foot of her bed and watched the trees tossing in the frenzied lashing of the wind. Answer: literary. Number 2. Since there is no law in Pakistan related to cannibalism, the police arrested the duo under Anti-Terrorism Act, declared that their action feared and threatened the people. Answer: journalistic. Number 3. Cyberbullying is one of the disadvantages of social media. It includes mean text messages or emails, rumors or embarrassing videos and pictures. Answer: informative. Tuning in. While on lockdown, have you heard over the radio or watched on the television how some people and government agencies sang the fight song by Rachel Platten? The song has gained popularity as it was used to honor the courage and bravery of the frontliners or health workers in the country who are battling against the viral pandemic COVID-19. Activity 1. Freestyle. Read the song or you may sing it the way you want. After reading or singing, answer the activities that follow. but the doctors later told me the virus had gone directly into my muscles. I had a cough, but it wasn't persistent, which people think is always the sign. I was bedbound for over a week. Then the fever set in. It felt like my body was on fire, and I was getting splitting headaches. I couldn't eat anything. I was vomiting and absolutely raining wet with sweat. And then my breathing started to get more difficult. I'm asthmatic, and that really worried me. Within a few more days, I was sleeping in and out of consciousness, and I have vague recollections of my 15-year-old son telling me he'd called 911. The paramedics arrived, and I remembered one saying, "She's very poorly, we need to bring her in." He put an oxygen mask on me and carried me out to the vehicle. One of my kids had called my mother June, and she was there watching. That was one of the hardest of things, seeing the look of helplessness on her face. But she couldn't come close because she has a heart condition and is at high risk if she catches the virus. When we arrived at the hospital, we were in a clinic of ambulances, just waiting to offload patients. I was lying there for about 3 hours until it was our turn. The nurse said, "I have to swab you for COVID-19. He stuck the swab stick so far down the back of my throat that I was retching. And then just as I was recovering, he said, "Now I have to do it up your nostrils." That was followed by a raft of blood tests and a chest x-ray. I was exhausted. I felt calmed. All I could think was, "What the hell's going on?" I remember another nurse coming over and telling me, "You've got pneumonia and you have to be on oxygen 24/7. At one point, I felt the most almighty pain in my chest, like I was being compressed with slabs of concrete. It told me it was the pneumonia attacking my lungs, and they gave me a shot of morphine. By the time the pain subsided, I was almost delirious. There were only 4 beds in my bay, and everyone in there had tested positive for COVID-19 and had an underlying health issue. I don't remember much of the first few days, just nurses coming in and out, and cleaners coming in to disinfect everything. Most of the noise was from me ringing the bell and gasping for drinks of water. One night, I saw a man in what was meant to be our all-female ward. I rang the bell and the nurse came and explained he was the son of the woman in the bed opposite me, and that she was an end-of-life patient. That was when I started hallucinating. I was getting flashbacks of conversations I'd had in my life and people I'd met. At one point I thought, am I alive or dead? Do these flashbacks mean I'm transitioning to death? Then all of a sudden, it was the early hours. I heard the male nurse outside the door say, "She's gone." The poor woman opposite me had died. I waited for them to come in and remove her body, but nothing happened. That lady's body was there for what seemed like hours before they eventually came in. They were cleaning it, and then they were wrapping it in a plastic, like packaging. Then I heard them put her in a body bag, zip it up, and say, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, the noise of that body coming into contact with a metal trolley. That's the sound you don't forget. By daytime, I was just looking at an empty bed. The day before, I'd been looking at somebody, and now the bed was empty. That thought really affected me. I started watching the woman in the bed diagonal to me. She slipped into a coma, and I watched her daughter come and say desperately, "Mom, it's me! Mom, it's me!" And it was pitiful because the woman was already gone. It sounds awful, but I was waiting for her for 2 nights to actually die, which was very distressing. I had fought to stay alive. After being almost ready to give up at the start, I had told myself, "No, I've got to carry on. I'm not ready to die. Not just for me, but for my kids and my family and friends. My sister Lorraine and my brother Richard have tested me constantly with love and support, and that gave me the will to fight it. Unfortunately, the comatose woman died after 2 days. What saved my life perhaps was one male nurse who said to me, "If the doctors say you're medically fit to go home, go. Don't make the mistake of staying in hospital because you feel a bit weak." Believe me, I've seen it on this ward. Every patient who's been told by doctors you can go home and have argued saying they don't feel 100% and just want one more night in hospital. Every one of them has contracted a secondary illness because this is a high-risk COVID-19 ward and they've all died. That same day, they tested my blood oxygen saturation levels and I scraped by. The doctor said, "You've just made it. I'm happy to discharge you." I was so excited. I was going home. It was freezing outside. I only had a hospital gown and flip-flops on, but I could feel the air in my face and I was elated. I don't know the name of the female ambulance driver, but she was an angel. She had started her shift at 6, and she was picking me up at 12:20. She'd done an 18-hour day. I'm bedbound for the next few weeks, and the doctor said it could take 3 to 6 months to get over the pneumonia. Since leaving hospital, my mother has been my lifeline, leaving me food parcels on my doorsteps. I touched death, and I'm very lucky to be alive. What I'm now looking forward to is appreciating nature. You realize material things don't matter. When I get outside, I want to breathe the air, look at birds, and enjoy the natural beauty of the world. I've been given a second chance. Activity 7. Understanding the text. Directions. Using your notes, supply the lacking information to complete the statements. If you think your notes are insufficient, reread the story. Number 1. Elizabeth noticed something not normal about her when blank. Answer. She feels excruciating pain in her legs and shivering fever. Number 2. The disease is somewhat similar to blank. Answer. Pneumonia. Number 3. The time of the year the virus outbreak happened was in blank. Answer. Winter. Answer: Elizabeth's 15-year-old son. Number 2. She said Elizabeth got it badly. Answers: ambulance driver, deceased. Number 3. They carried her and put her on the stretcher. Answer: the paramedics. Number 4. He advised her to go home as soon as being cleared by the doctor. Answers: one male nurse, Elizabeth. Number 5. She died after 2 days. Answer: comatose woman. That's all for today. See you in our next lesson. Goodbye.